That's what this is all about, this insurance insolvency. This is not a voluntary act. Integrity went under. And we are thrown into this role, and we're here to do the best we can for the public, for the creditors, and for the beneficiaries. And this is the liquidator's best resolve of this issue.
So is your approach to the statute their first line, which is it is not a contingent claim, or their second line, that it meets the standard for...
I think it's a contingent claim. I mean, you can make the argument that it's not, but I think it's a very broad definition. I think my understanding of contingent claim is you either have a final judgment or settlement, or you have a contingent claim. But I think if you look at the language, it becomes absolute if you apply IBNR pursuant to the normal actuarial principles. That makes it absolute against the insurer. Now, we're going to disagree. I'm certain that we're going to disagree. If we get past and we go to this process, we may disagree on the numbers. And then we'll go through whatever procedure we go through. And I want to talk about whether it's arbitration or a special master. But we'll go through that procedure. And after that, whether we agree or disagree, it's going to be adjudicated. And it will become absolute using commercially reasonable business practices. And that's important. I don't think it's fair here for them to be the policyholders and to know, they know pretty certainly that they're going to have these claims, but because of integrity's situation, and it's been 20 years, it's time to close this.
Did the money go into a fund or into the pocket of the policyholder?
I have no problem if it goes into a fund, but it's really not our say on where the money goes. We pay in accordance with the statute, so we pay the policyholder. If you make a rule that they have to put it into a fund, that's fine. I'm a plaintiff's lawyer. I'm fine with that. From any perspective, I think that the money needs to be paid, and they did buy this insurance. They are the policyholder. There are people that are affected by that, and one of the questions was, well, isn't this a windfall to you? And it may be if it doesn't go into a fund, but you have to understand, if we're building up the assets of the insurance company, then we're making it much less likely, and I'm talking about the insurance companies that are the policyholders, then we're making it less likely that those insurers are going to go under, and we're making it more likely that the claimants, the people that are injured, are going to be able to collect on their damages 20 years from now. So you can make a fund, certainly. You can put it out there and grow it. Or you can pay it to the actual holder of the policyholder, and build up their assets over time and make it more likely they're going to be able to pay those claims.